Hey plant fam! Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jaclynn. This is my jungle, and if you're not new here, thank you for coming back. I appreciate you for still being here. So, I heard you guys loud and clear you want more Hoya videos. So I've got another Hoya video for you guys today. And this one came requested by one of you. I apologize, I do not remember who left me this comment. But today we're going to be talking about my favorite trailing Hoya. So normally I do top 5, but today I have 7. So this is my top 7 favorite Hoya that trail really nicely. So basically, I'm showing you almost every trailing Hoya that I have in my collection besides like a couple. But these ones are my absolute favorites and ones that I would definitely recommend if you love trailing Hoya too. So the first one on my list should not be surprising, and obviously I had to put it first on the list because it is my favorite trailing Hoya period. Like just of all time, although the one I have in the number 2 slot is very quickly challenging that. So the first one, of course, is my Hoya Matilde, and this is one of 3 that I have. I showed you guys, I did a whole video just on this plant. If you missed it, I'll link it up here for you so that you can check that one out. But this is my personal plant, and I just love how beautiful and cascading these leaves are. They're super cute, small splashy leaves, and I just really genuinely love this plant. It's an easy bloomer. It has really beautiful blooms. It's still got one that it's working on right now, and you really just cannot go wrong with the Hoya Matilde. This is the Serpens crossed with a Carnosa, and anytime you put Carnosa in there, the plant is just usually really easygoing and easy growing, and I think that this one is just such a beautiful trailing plant. I know some people do trellis this one, but I do think that it works better as a trailing plant personally. Not all Hoya are going to look like this when they grow. A lot of them kind of grow all over the place, wonky, and they need to be trellised. But there are a handful that look absolutely stunning as trailing plants, and this is definitely my favorite. I would love to know your favorite once we get to the end of this list, if it's on this list or if it's something different. I just really love trailing Hoya. Like, I don't know why it took me so long to talk about all of them, but I have quite a few newer ones in my collection as well, so I'm excited to show you those. Okay, so Hoya Matilde is the first one on my list today of my favorite trailing Hoya, and this is definitely one of the 2 easiest on this list. So if you're looking for really easy going, easy growing trailing Hoya, this is the one you're going to want to get. Plus, it's a really beautiful and easy bloomer. These flowers are just on another level. They're kind of fuzzy, they're very light pink, and they're just really cute. So Hoya Matilde is number 1 on my list today. I just realized that my Monstera is not in the background today because it's being watered, in case you're wondering where it is. It's in the shower being watered. And number 2 on my list today should not be surprising either, but like I said, this one is starting to become one of my favorites, just like period. And it is my Hoya Heuscheliana Inner Variegated. I have 2 of them. I have some pots coming so that we can finally repot these together into one big plant, but the way that this one trails, this one's like a little bit smaller, so it's harder to tell, but the way that this trails is just so stinking cute, and the way that it grows is just absolutely adorable. You can totally grow this one on a trellis if you wanted to, but why would you want to? I can't wait for this to just be like a giant curtain of plants. So again, the Hoya Heuscheliana Inner Variegated. Both of these are from Gardino Nursery, and I just love them so much. Look at the leaves. They have the cutest variegation. The new growth comes in pink. If you put them in bright light, you can still get like some pink blushing on the older leaves as well. You can kind of see it on some of these, but it is starting to fade. I did put this directly in the window, so hopefully that'll help. I have one that sits on the shelf behind me here, and this one's been in the window, so I guess we'll see if one of them gets sun stressed or not. But I absolutely love this plant and I 10 out of 10 recommend it. I definitely think that if you can buy this one already big, I mean, this is the biggest, honestly, that I'm able to find. And they can be kind of pricey for like a larger one. I got this for $35, both of these separately for $35. So altogether, I paid $70 for this whole plant, like what's going to be all one plant. So it's definitely like not a cheap plant, and it's not one that's easy to find really big. But if you can find like a decently well-established one with new growth, I definitely recommend it. So that'll just take off a little bit faster for you, because who doesn't want this as a trailing plant in their collection? Like I said, you can definitely trellis it, but why would you want to? She's so cute. So I had to put her at number 2 because she's definitely my second favorite. The rest of them are not really in any particular order, but these are definitely my top 2 favorites, the Matilde and the Hushkliana inner variegated. I have outer variegated as well, but the inner variegated just, it's so good. It's so good. So if you don't have this one in your collection yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. I'm just obsessed with it and I can't wait for it to bloom for me one day, hopefully. So number 2 on my list is the Hoya Hushkliana inner variegated for my favorite trailing Hoya. All right, so this is probably the most easygoing one on the whole entire list. And number 3 is the Hoya species affinis Bertoniae. So this is the variegated one. I've been like slacking on watering it, so there's some dead leaves. This is the variegated one, which is super duper cute, but then there's also just like the regular green one, and they both make absolutely beautiful trailing plants. This one's kind of a disaster and needs to be repotted. Look at the roots are coming out of the... I cut this a lot, so that is why it's kind of not really super trailing, but it is a really beautiful trailing plant if you don't cut it a lot and if you actually like take care of it. These roots are super dry coming out of this pot. But this one is definitely more trailing and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. The prices have come way down on these too. So if you want to get your hands on a nice variegated Bertoniae, I did sell like tons of propagations of this too, which is why it's not quite as full and trailing as it was before. But I need to repot her. She's just in cocoa chunks, which is really hard for me to maintain watering, especially in a hanging basket that doesn't have like a saucer or anything. So it's like more effort to like go take it to the sink and water it. So it just kind of happens less frequently. But I definitely need to repot it into my chunky soil mix so that it'll hold on to moisture for a little bit longer, so that maybe she'll grow. She hasn't really been growing much for me because I've been neglecting her a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. But this is the kind of plant that you totally can neglect and it's gonna be fine. And obviously she makes an absolutely gorgeous trailing plant. So I think that it's kind of a no-brainer to put Bertoniae on this list because she's beautiful. She's got pretty tight internodal spacing, which is something that I look for in a trailing plant. And her vines actually will hang. So a lot of Hoya, they just kind of grow out and then never really fall down. So that's why you would want to trellis a lot of them. But ones like this that have like the thinner stems and the smaller leaves usually do really well trailing because they'll just kind of start hanging once they get heavy enough. So that's why this one. What number are we on? 3? Number 3 on my list is the Hoya affinis Bertoniae, because obviously why not? And this one I snagged from Succulents Empire. My Matilde, I don't remember. My bigger ones I got from the plant farm. I did check their website recently and they don't have any large hanging baskets of Matilde currently, but they do have some smaller plants for a good price if you guys are looking for one. All right, so number 5 on my list of my favorite trailing Hoya. I'm really excited to show you guys this one. I love this one so very much. And it is my Hoya Engleriana. So I don't know if you would really even call this trailing. She kind of just like grows out and then down eventually, kind of like the Bella does, but I absolutely love her. Plus, look at this pot. I gotta hang it somewhere. She's so stinking cute, you guys. Tell me this isn't one of the cutest hanging baskets of Hoya you've ever seen in your life, because I feel like you would just be lying to yourself and you'd be lying to me, you know, and I don't appreciate that. So Hoya Ingleriana, she's got these really, really cute little tiny leaves with that one single vein going down the middle. She's been a really easy grower and I haven't had any issues with her at all. I've propagated her a bunch. She's just been an absolute dream to grow, and I 10 out of 10 recommend snagging one of these if you like little baby leaf Hoya, and especially if you like plants that kind of grow a little wonky. Like, it reminds me of like why I love Ripsalis, because it's just kind of all over the place, but in the best way possible. She is just adorable. So again, Hoya Ingleriana, some of you out there have probably snagged cuttings from me of this plant, and I just adore her. Like I said, she's really easy to root, really easy to grow, and I've just been having such a great time watching her get bigger and more full, and I need to find a cute spot to hang this in. She's kind of been sitting in front of the window for a while. So Hoya Ingleriana is number 4 on my list today of my favorite trailing Hoya. Can you blame me? She's adorable. Okay, fam, so number 5 on my list of my favorite Hoya that trail nicely. You should have known. You should have known this one was going to be on the list, and it's my Hoya Bella variegated. This is the inner variegated one, and I mean, look at her. She's like kind of on par with the Hushkliana with the coloring and the cute little pink sun stress that she'll get, and I just love how long these leaves are. It makes her look fuller than she is because the way the leaves hang, if that makes sense, because they're so long. They kind of fill in the spaces, so you don't really see the stem on this plant. You just see a beautiful curtain of these absolutely stunning leaves, and obviously the regular green Hoya is also beautiful. I have a hanging basket of that. But when it comes to my favorites, this one I catch myself staring at all day long. And I just absolutely love her. And this is one that I struggled with in the past, but I finally got her as a larger plant, and now she's literally thriving. There are peduncles on like every single vine. She did just have some that were open, but I don't think there are any open ones right now, but there's like, I can't even count the peduncles. There's so many, which is a sign of a really happy, healthy plant and a mature plant, and I just love her. She was more full, but I take cuttings off of her constantly for you guys, so I'm in the process of just kind of letting her grow. She's got a couple of new tendrils that she's throwing out, and then maybe in a month or two I can propagate her again, but I would love to grow her out even bigger than this. The only reason why I haven't cut these longer vines is because of the peduncles. When there's a bloom on it, I have such a hard time cutting it, but we've gotten to the point with this plant where there's peduncles on every vine, so I don't really have a choice. If I want to cut it, I'm probably going to cut off a peduncle, but that means you get one. So yeah, Hoya Bella inner variegated is number 5, I think, yeah, on my list of my favorite trailing Hoya. Look at the pink on the leaves, because this one does live directly in the window, and the window in here does get some southern light later in the day, so she definitely gets some pretty decent sun over there, and I just absolutely love this plant so much. So that is why I put her at number 5 on my list today. Okay, so number 6 is one that's been sitting behind me on the shelf this whole time, and it's not one that I honestly would have thought that I would put on like a favorites list, just because this is another one that I really struggled with trying to grow it from a small plant. This is one of the ones you're going to want to buy bigger and more established, because cuttings can be pretty tricky But she's absolutely beautiful, especially as a trailing plant. She's very highly sought after, and it is the Hoya linearis. She might look she kind of looks kind of bare, but that's just her vibe. Hopefully she'll continue to grow more vines from the top, and eventually as they, like I said, get heavier, they'll just fall and kind of cascade down. But the reason why people love this one so much is because it's fuzzy. So I don't know if it's picking up much on camera, but these little delicate leaves are super cute and super fuzzy. And this is just definitely the most finicky Hoya on the list. I would probably say that this is the most difficult to grow on the list. It does like to stay well watered compared to other Hoya. It doesn't like super hot temperatures. So a lot of the time we tend to think that all Hoya are the same and that they all want the same exact environment and the same care. And I think that's where a lot of people tend to go wrong with the linearis. That's where I went wrong with the linearis countless times before this. But we've been doing really well with this one. She's got tons of new growth points and I love her. So obviously had to put her on the list, but just be aware, this is definitely the most difficult one to acquire and to grow on this whole entire list. So this is going to be really hard to find. I'm not going to lie to you guys. If you do find one and you want one, definitely don't hesitate to snag it. They are in super high demand and very low supply right now. So they're probably going to be pricey. I got lucky. I got this one at Paul's and Sandy's for like 30 something. And I was like, what? $36.99. Which is an insane price for an already well-established full trailing plant of it like this. So Hoya linearis is number 6 on my list today of my favorite trailing Hoya. Okay, so we've got one more, and this last one honestly looks kind of sad right now, but I had to put it on the list because it is a fan favorite. Like everybody loves this Hoya. So number 7, last but certainly not least, I mean, she definitely looks, mine looks pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie, is the Hoya Bella. So I snagged this one a little while back. You guys would have seen me unbox it. It looked better than this when I unboxed it, I swear to you. I also have a variegated one. It's just in my cabinet right now, and it's not really all that big to show you how they trail. So I love this one as a trailing plant, and I think that's part of the appeal. Also, this kind of like mermaid tail shape vibe, like the Polynera. Oh, I should have put the Polynera on the list. There's so many. Honorable mention for the Polynera. Is a beautiful trailing Hoya as well, but this is definitely one of the first ones that comes to mind when you think about trailing Hoya, at least for me anyway, because it is just a really popular plant for collectors, not just Hoya people. Everybody loves the Hoya Bella. So the reason why mine looks bad is because I had it in a prop box being isolated and I kind of neglected it a little bit. So, but she'll be fine. She's gonna be fine. She's gonna bounce back and be totally fine. So I had to put Hoya Bella on the list. I'm also gonna throw honorable mention Polynera on the list because, I mean, you can trellis that one for sure, but I do think it looks really beautiful as a trailing Hoya. So that is my list, you guys, of my top 7 favorite trailing Hoya. And I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you had fun looking at these. These are so pretty. They're so pretty. I love the variegation on these ones. And let me know in the comments below what your favorite trailing Hoya are. Were they on this list? Were they not on this list? What would you add to this list? I would love to know because there are so many beautiful trailing Hoya that I don't have in my collection, and maybe I'll want to buy them. So let us know. Help a sister out. Let us know what Hoya you have in your collection that trail really beautifully. And if you enjoyed this video, you should definitely give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything from me. There's a join button. There's a super thanks button. If you guys want to be a part of the official plant fam, you can definitely do that. I have a members only video coming. I just have not finished filming and editing it yet. So stay tuned for that though. And leave me some cute little pink heart emojis if you watched this whole entire video in honor of these super duper cute blush pink Hoya that I have here. And I love you so, so very much. I hope you're having a beautiful day wherever you are out there in the world. Don't forget to spread kindness. Don't forget to drink your water. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!